Video on Marron Glace. So I was out for a walk and I found some British chestnuts that were on the ground. So I thought I'd have a go at making some Marron Glace. Not ordinarily the chestnuts that you buy in the UK are French chestnuts because they are a lot bigger. So I suppose there was maybe 10 that I found quite easily. Those are the nice big ones that came out of the chestnuts. Some are smaller, but I'm going to cook them all because then I'll be able to use those smaller ones as tasters with still being left the big ones. Those were the scratchy bits that kind of came in with the chestnuts as well. So what we have to do is peel them. I'll peel one and then you can see that you just need to whip the end off and peel the outside off. My dad and granddad always used to cook them with the skins on and then peel them, or cook them in the skins in boiling water and then peel them afterwards. But I'm going to peel them and then we're going to poach them in water. So that looks okay. A few little bits there. What we'll do is I'll peel them all and then I'll go through them all and we'll cook them until they're nice and tender, and then we'll go through them and see if there's any bits that need to kind of pull off from the outside, but they look alright, like they're okay. We might need to peel some of that membrane off and get a bit of that out, but we'll see. So I'll peel them and then we'll poach them until so cold water, brought up to the boil, and then poach them, simmer them slowly so they don't boil apart, and then when they're nice and tender, and then the moment we'll have a look over them. They're still warm, and we'll take them out of the water. When they're still warm, we'll just pick over them and see how they are. So that's it for the moment. So chestnuts are now cooked, and as you can see, the inner outer husk has started to come away from the actual the inside, which is what we want. So quite easy to peel while they're still warm. Just need to take off this outer membrane here. I'll probably slightly overcook them, but they'll be fine. Once they go cold, they'll harden up again. You just have to be gentle with them. Use the fingers or a sharp knife. I'm just using my nail. Clean hands, obviously. So we just need to take away that, and you were left with. Can you see that? Yes, you are left with that. Let that go cold, and then we're going to cook it in a sugar syrup. Sugar syrup from cold, bring it up to boiling, simmer for 2 minutes, then let it go cold, and let the chestnuts go cold in the syrup, and then repeat that every day for 5 days, maybe even 7 days, until they're completely saturated with the sugar syrup. I am going to use some sugar syrup that I was trying to ferment it, but it hasn't worked. So it's just water, sugar, and lemon juice, which I'm going to use that instead of wasting it, and that will be what the chestnuts get cooked in. And then we'll kind of see. So we'll let these go cold, probably overnight. It's getting a bit late now to be faffing around. Let them go cold, and then we'll cook them in the sugar syrup tomorrow, and we'll kind of go through the kind of process. Pretty straightforward. From cold, bring them up to the boil, simmer for 2 minutes, then let them go cold again, and then repeat the process. So slowly over time, the chestnuts get saturated with the sugar syrup. I think that's about it. That's it for the moment, anyway. Right, so cooking the chestnuts. They got a bit broken up. Slightly disappointed in that, but tastes good. So we'll use this as an experiment more than anything else. So into the pan, and then cover with the lemon and sugar syrup. And we'll bring it up to the boil. Simmer for 2 minutes, and then let it go cold, and repeat the process again tomorrow. I'm not going to show you me boiling it up and doing it every day. We will come back when there's like some kind of visible change that we can actually see, and if it's actually going to work. But trust me, I'm going to do it every day. So to recap, in case I forgot to say, so up to the boil, simmer for 2 minutes, then let it go cold. Leave the chestnuts in the sugar syrup, and then they're going to soak up that juice, and they're going to go crystallized. So that's it. So boil, simmer for 2 minutes, let it go cold. Next day, you do exactly the same thing again. It doesn't have to be the next day. It just has to be. No, it does. It does, because you need like 24 hours for as much sugar to soak into the chestnuts as possible. So that's it for 1 or 2 or 3 days. We'll see how we go. There we go. 7 days later, so 7 days of bringing the chestnuts up to boil in the sugar syrup, and then simmering for 2 minutes, and then cooling down, and then repeating the same process again. And that's what we come up with. We come up with Marron Glace. The sugar syrup has slightly started to caramelise, and I have had to add more sugar syrup to it because obviously it reduced over time. But there you go. As you can see, they have turned into Marron Glace, and I'm going to boil them up again for, well, I'm not going to with these, but I've decided I bought some more chestnuts, so I'm going to do it, repeat the same process with some chestnuts that I bought. These are just the ones that I foraged the other week while I was out for a walk. But I definitely, they are nice and sweet, are the chestnuts that you can find around the UK. Obviously do check that they are chestnuts before you start eating things that you pick up off the ground. But next year I certainly will be going and harvesting some chestnuts and making Marron Glace out of them. They do taste really nice. They're nice and sweet. So I'm not, and because they're smaller, I think they are nicer, a little bit more of a faff, but I think they'll turn out better than the bigger ones that I've bought, which come from China. They are French. I'm sure they're French chestnuts, but these ones were grown in China, of all places. So yeah, really pleased with those. Slightly annoyed with myself that I didn't go out a couple of weeks before and pick up more. But yeah, I'd say that was a success. They are nice. They have broken up, but that's because they were a mixture of smaller ones and big ones. But the big ones have held together quite well. So that's a little bit of a lesson there. But anyway, that's it for now. Actually, that's not it, because I'll show you the chestnuts that I bought. They are considerably a lot bigger. So these are the French Chinese chestnuts, and these are the UK chestnuts. So they are 3 times the size. So I'm not entirely sure how long they're going to take to cook. Well, they are cooked because I've cooked and I peeled them. But I don't know how long they're going to take to cook in the sugar. So it might be a week, might be slightly longer because they are a lot bigger. But we'll see how we go. There might be a video part 2, but that's going to be it for now. But certainly worth doing if you want to faff around with chestnuts. I always found them a little bit bland, to say the truth. But probably that was just down to the way that someone else was cooking them. But those kind of quite nice. But there we go. That's it.